to get to the fix. Say yes no. And she's a rich badness. And she are on the ground. Yo, New Jersey. Po. Rich badness and MichelleG, them style big Benz park up and elastic punk Kyle. Bust she bust tune, go and go run R5, be a star she par with fam, she a juvenile MichelleG run the ground. A real white badness, where them a say? And she play the most hit song, where them a say? Yeah. She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen boy where you chat chat, where them a say? A real white badness, where them a say? And she have up the hottest set of dubs, where them a say? She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen, man, I don't know, so I'm not representing of MichelleG, you know. I don't know, so she say get to the fix. Say yes no. And she say rich badness, and she are on the ground. Yo, New Jersey. Po. Rich badness and MichelleG, them style big Benz park up and elastic punk Kyle. Bust she bust tune, go and go run R5, be a star she par with fam, she a juvenile MichelleG run the ground. A real white badness, where them a say? And she play the most hit song, where them a say? Yeah. She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen boy where you chat chat, where them a say? A real white badness, where them a say? And she man I don't know, so I'm not representing of MichelleG, you know.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Say yes no. And she's a rich badness, and she are on the ground. Yo, New Jersey. Po. Rich badness and MichelleG, them style big Benz park up and elastic punk Kyle. Bust she bust tune, go and go run R5, be a star she par with fam, she a juvenile MichelleG run the ground. A real white badness, where them a say? And she play the most hit song, where them a say? Yeah. She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen boy where you chat chat, where them a say? A real white badness, where them a say? And she have up the hottest set of dubs, where them a say? She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen boy where you chat chat, where them a say? Yo, MichelleG, pocket no fracture. You're up to the time, just like that watcher. Your cologne at home, just like a boxer. Catch a stone in your net, just like a lobster. I mix them clean, just like that mafia. We a big thief, big crew. When them see you put the bar on your foot, you know take liquor right name in a book. Run the ground. A New Jersey badness, where them a say? And you play the most bad song, where them a say? Chain it a jib, bad clocks for your foot. In a little boy where you chat chat, where them a say? A New Jersey badness, where them a say? And you person not representing of MichelleG, you know. I don't know, so she say get to the fix. Say yes no. And she say rich badness, and she are on the ground. Yo, New Jersey. Po. Rich badness and MichelleG, them style big Benz park up and elastic punk Kyle. Bust she bust tune, go and go run R5, be a star she par with fam, she a juvenile MichelleG run the ground. A real white badness, where them a say? And she play the most hit song, where them a say? Yeah. She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen boy where you chat chat, where them a say? A real white badness, where them a say? And she have up the hottest set of dubs, where them a say? She ain't it a chip, bad clocks on her foot. She not listen boy where you chat chat, where them a say? Yo, MichelleG, pocket no fracture. You're up to the time, just like that watcher. Your cologne at home, just like a boxer. Catch a stone in your net, just like a lobster. I mix them clean, just like that mafia. We a big thief, big crew. When them see you put the bar on your foot, you know take liquor right name in a book. Run the ground. A New Jersey badness, where them a say? And you play the most bad song, where them a say? Chain it a jib, bad clocks for your.
Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Guy with the fix, MichelleG. Hi everybody, I'm in the building. Yeah, I had some not even technical difficulties. But last week I had a medical emergency last week, so I wasn't here. But I'm here today, thank God. I'm feeling much, much better. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. So I have an issue tonight, though. My laptop decides that it's not charging. I don't know why it's not charging, but that might be the only song that I'm able to play tonight. Unfortunately, my laptop, I don't know. It was charging earlier, and as soon as I came down here, it's not charging again. So I'm not sure what's going on with my laptop, but you know, of course, I have another computer, so I got the whole show connected on there. When this laptop decides to go kaput. But God is good. God is great. I am happy to be here. I am here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Uh, Graces to God, of course. We are streaming live on getwiththefix.net, Blaze Radio, Mighty Mix, Majestic, Coffee. Uh, who did I forget? I think I said everybody. I hope. I think I said everybody. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight we have a lot to discuss tonight. We are definitely gonna have the immigration conversation. It is Black History Month, the shortest month of the entire year. Whoever decided to do that, I don't know. But it's Black History Month. So for this whole month, we are going to be showcasing some Black businesses in New Jersey, in New York, and it's going to trickle over to March just because I wasn't here last week. So I had to move some things down so that I can conduct that interview with Mark 100, which will be on the 15th. Um, Thanks to his team for accepting to redo the interview. So yeah, so I hope everybody's doing well. I know I am. I'm doing much better, I should say. Now, thank God. And it wasn't serious to the point of me not being here at all. So that's a good thing. It is Wednesday. Um, Shout out to all of the DJs and hosts and women DJs and all of that here on Get With The Fix. I appreciate each and every one of you for the things that you do here. And, this radio station couldn't be running if it wasn't up to all of you guys because I can't be here all day long, every day. I'm mm-mm. I couldn't do it. So yeah, so like I said, I am here. I'm gonna shut down this computer and see if it'll come back up and restart. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I guess I'll be doing a lot of talking tonight because I don't have any music. If it doesn't start charging, okay. So Get With The Fix, like I said, I am in the building till 9 p.m. Shout out to LeBron James. We went to see the game. I think it was 2 Mondays ago. 2 Mondays ago, we went to see the game. Unfortunately, he wasn't playing because they sit him out when he's playing so much, and he was there though. He was physically in the building, rocking with the fans and being a part of his team. So shout out to him for being the great man, father, husband, and all of that he is. Because a lot of people post him shooting that shot and all of that, but he's a great husband to his wife, and we often forget to showcase those parts of people. So yeah, shout out to him. I'm actually glad I don't have an artist interview tonight because that would have been not cool that my laptop is not charging. So that's God is good. Is all I have to say. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm just gonna get into my interview. Um, so let me just do my invites so that my guests can join me and we can start having this immigration conversation. Okay. About this time, I would be playing music, but the laptop is not doing um, what it's supposed to be doing for me. I hope I don't have to get a whole new laptop, or maybe it's the cord. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I just sent my guest the link so that he can join. So let me send him a message telling him to join the conversation. It's cool to interview artists and all of that kind of stuff, but sometimes we need some information. And I did get a lot of questions for tonight, so I'm definitely going to, you know, ask the questions that folks ask me to ask. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, my laptop is not charging at all, at all, at all. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I guess one of my techie people can reach out to me and tell me why it's not charging. If it's not one thing, it is a million and one. But as long as you have life, you know, you can clear up anything that is going on that's not right. Right? So like I said, shout out to LeBron James. He is the GOAT. In fact, he is the GOAT. No doubt about it. LeBron James is the GOAT. Been doing this basketball game for umpteen years, and now he is. I guess he can retire now. Um, I don't know. Maybe he can. I don't know. Or can he retire? I mean, how old is LeBron James? Like almost 40? I guess he can retire now knowing that he's leaving as the GOAT, you know, in this arena of music, not music, basketball. I'm so used to talking to artists and that type of stuff. So while we wait for the attorney to join us here on Get with the Fix, there's a lot of stories going on. I'm definitely gonna play the video of, oh no, I can't play it because my computer is not doing what it's supposed to do. I'll try to see if this other one can pull it up. But the Tyree Nichols situation at this point, one of the officers spoke out, and he said some things, like I guess trying to take himself out the mix. But bro, you were there. Regardless of whether you're trying to take yourself out the mix, you were there. You didn't really do anything to help this whole situation, and now this young man's family is mourning him because you didn't do anything to help. But it looks as though he's probably going to be one of the people that cop a plea in this matter. So let's see where it goes with that. Also, shout out to Kabaka Pyramid. He of course won the Grammy for Best Reggae Album. So shout out to him and his entire team for that. The Well Done singer came out ahead of Coffee, who was nominated for her debut album Gifted. Sean Paul, who was nominated for Scarcha, Shaggy for Come Fly With Me, and Protege for the third time's the charm. But Kabaka has won. So let me join our good evening, sir. How are ya?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Thank you for being here tonight. On the computer screen, I was going to say phone line, but on the computer screen, we have Anadir Bari. Did I say your name right?
Yeah, Abadir Bari.
Abadir
Yeah.
Bari.
Oh, sorry. I
Um,
think I misspelled it on the thing. I'll edit it for you.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know I want to make sure I get your name correct.
All right.
First of all, but thank you for taking this opportunity. First of all, let me say how I got to know about you was one of my DJs, DJ Yardy here on Get with the Fix, who I think he's been trying since last year to get you on the show. And here you are today. So thank you for joining us. I know you're busy. You're in your car. So
Yeah,
thank
I'm just gonna be
you.
home in a minute. Yeah. So, no, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Immigration is a very important topic. A lot of people,
Definitely.
yeah, a lot of people need it. A lot of people have a lot of misinformation too because there's
Yeah.
so much going around. That clients often come to me and they're like, "Is this really so?" Or, I heard about this. Is that true? So I always, feel humbled and honored to get on any show to speak about immigration, much less
Good. Good. I'm
shows.
glad. So first of all, let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Australia, which is and my family and I immigrated to the U.S. In
Say
'92.
that
I was
again
eight
because
years
I think you kicked out when you said where you were from.
Somalia, which is in
Somalia.
East Africa. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And there was some people may remember the older people. There was a civil war in my country in the '90s, and
Okay.
my family and I fled the civil war. We came to America, and we filed for asylum, and then got
Wow.
asylum. Yeah, and then got the green card. I was 8 at the time. I'm one of 7 siblings. It's one of
Okay.
7 of us. So the whole family came here, and that's how my immigration story actually started as an immigrant,
Wow.
doing asylum, green card, and then eventually citizenship.
Okay. So is that what drove you to become an attorney?
Yeah, actually, so I always liked debating. I always liked law, and my parents and my uncle and family would always say, you should be a lawyer, but and immigration was always there, right? My uncle, he did immigration services. I mean, came from an immigrant community. We were always working on immigration applications, filling them out. So it was always there. And then when I graduated undergrad and got my
Mhm.
bachelor's, I worked for a law firm, and it's my first law firm I worked for as a paralegal
Okay.
was an immigration firm. So
Okay.
it pulled me back. So I always tell people, immigration chose me. I didn't necessarily choose it because of just my background, and I've always stayed in it. And even when I've done other top parts of law, immigration always swung me back. So at this point, I've accepted it. It's my my passion, which is now
Gotcha.
turned into my
Yeah.
profession. So it's the work that I enjoy the most too.
Okay, good. Now, how long have you been practicing law?
Practicing 6 years, going on 7,
Wow.
as an attorney, and then I've been a paralegal doing it all together. So what is that? 2007 to now, so that's 15 years. Yeah,
Wow. 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 Oh my, you
yeah.
look very young.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be 39 next month. So yeah, people think
Oh,
when they come
okay.
into my office, yeah, they're like, oh, you must be 28 or 20, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna be 40 soon. So yeah, I look younger than I am. Yeah,
Yeah, because when I saw your picture, I was like, oh, he's a young guy. So this is
yeah,
really good. This is really good. This is really good.
right.
Now, what type of law do you do?
I specialize in immigration, and then anything else that kind of circles around. So immigration will have like sometimes family law. People need a
Hmm.
divorce and immigration, or they might have a criminal conviction and then they're facing deportation. So
Okay.
if it touches in that orbit, I do. But I primarily specialize in immigration law, and all
Okay.
facets of it: family-based, citizenship. If you're filing for somebody, if you're in deportation proceedings, it's also known as removal proceedings. You know. If you're trying to do employment based, all sectors of it, yes.
Okay, because the funniest thing that you said out of that is that all of the questions that I have is geared
Yeah.
around everything that you just said. So that's
Okay.
really good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Great.
That's really good. Now, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is that I noticed that New Jersey allows all income eligible children, regardless of immigration status, to enroll in the state's health insurance. Is that also done in New York?
It is done in New York as well. Yes, it's easier in New Jersey, so people often, go to Jersey or may live there for a little bit because it's easier. But
Okay.
New York as well. Yes,
Why is it easier in New Jersey?
uh, it's just a bit less red tape in New Jersey, so that's why people go to New Jersey. All these other places, it's more red tape.
Okay, it takes a longer time. So, what is the process? Like, what is the process for someone who wants to apply for that?
Oh, it's not very hard. So they just have to show that they're a New Jersey resident, that they are a minor child. Usually, people will take their school records, right?
Okay.
Maybe proof that they're enrolled in school, passport, their birth certificate, and then whoever they're obviously they need the paperwork of the legal guardian that is that they're living with, whether it's a parent or a guardian. And
Okay, now do you have you found, like, have you had to deal with this issue? Has anyone come to you to be their attorney
Yeah,
for it?
not necessarily their attorney for it, but this is one of those examples where somebody hires me for an immigration issue, right? They'll have a minor child, and they say, "Listen, can we find a way to get this child a green card?" And
Okay.
then along the way, they will say, "Oh, I want to get the child medical care. Any assistance on that?" And then that's how we end up assisting. But we don't. That's people don't necessarily come hired just for that.
Okay. Okay. Now, how does your consultation work? Like, how does that process go?
Right. So our office is open Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week, nine
Okay.
to six,
Okay.
and we call number is 646 894 5900, and you just schedule an appointment. The consultation fee is $150, but it goes towards the if you hire me. Goes towards the deposit.
Okay, okay. So, right now, I think he's trying to go in the elevator to get upstairs, but he said basically that it's $150 for the fee. The fee is 150. And their office hours are Monday to Saturday, 9 to 6. Can you hear
That's
me?
correct.
Okay, good.
Saturday, yeah. Because a
Um,
lot of people work during the week, so
yeah, yeah.
they can't come during the week. Work on Saturday, yeah. So that alleviates a lot of time for people.
Okay. So that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, why did you guys decide to do Saturdays? Because but I get it now. So
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you
People work on
okay, can you say the number again? Because I'm being asked for the number.
646 894 5900.
Okay.
646 894 5900.
Okay.
Okay.
So how fast is your turnaround? Depending on the type of case, like how fast is your turnaround?
What we're actually very well known for is that cases that are delayed, pushing them through, because immigration always has processing times for
Okay.
cases. So we're able. We know the way to get a case processed through with the least amount of red tape. But every case has a certain amount of process time. You can't get a case done in 1 day or 1 week, right?
Right, right.
But if you don't have certain documents, or if you're not meeting the requirements, they'll end up. What happens is requesting for evidence, and that slows the
Okay.
process, right? So we cut all of those corners, know exactly what the requirement is, and
Mhm.
then punch the case through, and then we follow up.
Okay.
So you're the term. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. We are that squeaky wheel. We just bug immigration all day long. Hey, yeah,
So they know your name basically.
yes, they know us very well, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Uh-oh. The internet just went out a little bit. Let's wait for him to come back in. But we are on the phone right now talking to. Oh, there you go. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So
So you were saying.
they end up really assisting people that are persistent, right?
Okay.
You're not, you kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Mm.
So our goal is, to get everybody's case through as quick as possible. And
Okay.
part of my ethos, because from the time I entered the country to the time I became a citizen, it was
Mhm.
years. So like I know the immigration process to be fully, done and be a citizen can be a long process. So, I thankfully most of the wait for me was during my childhood years, right, from 8
Okay.
to 15. But yeah, my parents, uncles, aunts, like they were adults having to renew a work permit or couldn't.
Mhm.
So I know the stress of that. So I,
Mhm.
push an applicant's file through as fast as possible.
Okay, good. I like that. So some other questions I had is that so I got married to someone, and if that person dies, do I automatically get my green card, or what are the routes to take to resolve that matter?
Right. So first and foremost, there's never any automatic anything with green
Okay.
card. Sure. So, but if you are married to a U.S. citizen, uh,
Mhm.
and you are widowed, right, and your spouse dies, you can file a widow application.
Okay.
As long as you file that application within 2 years of the death.
Okay. Okay.
That's really the biggest requirement for that. And it goes two ways. So if you started the application
Mhm.
and then your spouse passed away in the middle of it,
Mhm.
that's actually an instance where it automatically switches over to a widow petition. You don't
Okay.
need to file anything new. But
Okay.
if you're coming in from the start and
Mhm.
my spouse died, 6 months ago, we were planning to file, then you can file a widow petition as long as it's 2 years within the death.
Okay. So what if you're like a day before the 2 year? Because a lot of people don't know this information, right?
Yeah, it's a hard rule. If it's a day outside the 2 years, they don't process it. In fact, yeah, I had a case of sad story. Well, a woman was 3 days outside of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, she already had an attorney, and the attorney did something and didn't forgot about the file or whatever it was, and then
Okay.
and it ended up. So the only way around it was I had to like file a complaint saying that it wasn't the client's fault; it was the attorney. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it's a hard rule.
Okay, good. I'm glad because a lot of people don't know that part about immigration. So the other question I had is if my sponsor is mistreating me, what can you do? And do you have to stay with that person who is mistreating you because people like to use that as a threat?
It is. That's a very big threat, unfortunately, in the immigration process. A lot of times people feel like because they're filing for you that
Hmm.
they own you and they want to use that ad. So you should never be in any kind of abusive relationship. That's
Right, right, correct.
an announcement in any kind of abusive relationship. So, but for immigration purposes, if you are in an abusive relationship, or even if you have a U.S. citizen child that's abusive to the parent or vice versa, you can file what's called a VAWA petition. Violence. It was really against violence against women, but
Okay,
they
the
but it's now
VAWA,
everything is
right? It's called.
VAWA, yeah,
Okay.
VAW. But now everything is gender neutral, so it
Oh,
goes
true.
so men can file and women. And I've had tons of male clients, and the abuse doesn't have to be physical. It
Okay.
can be psychological, emotional, you know,
Financial.
yeah, all types of abuse. Uh,
Okay.
and so you just have to prove that the relationship was real.
Mm.
Meaning you were married to that person, or you were the son or daughter of the abusive parent, and two, that you suffered abuse.
How do you prove that a relationship is real when it comes to immigration?
It's
Like,
great.
how do you prove that?
Great question. So when it's for marriage, right? I'll do that one because that's probably the only. Any other types of familiar relationships, they can just do DNA, right?
Okay.
Mother daughter, father daughter, all of those. If there's any question, you just do DNA nowadays,
Right. That's the easy part.
right? So for marriage, immigration uh, looks for it's like a two-part test.
Okay.
One, are you married on paper,
Mm.
right? So they
Okay.
want you have a marriage certificate,
Mm.
obviously. Do you have, and then like joint bills, right? So
Okay.
they're in their assessment, married people commingle their life,
Right.
meaning have a joint bank account. They
Hmm. Hmm.
may have the Con Edison bill, or the light bill, Spectrum, or T-Mobile bill together in both their names. They might have a credit card. They might have life insurance. They might obviously the IDs have the same address. So they look for all of that.
Okay.
And when they conduct the interview, they see if they. So the interview goes. It's three parts.
Okay.
First, and it's not segmented, but three main themes that they go for.
Okay.
They begin with how you two met. How did these people go from perfect strangers to married? Because everybody's love story or
It's
marriage,
different.
well, you were strangers at some point. You didn't know.
Right. Right. Right.
They want to hear the courtship.
Okay.
They ask questions about you and about your spouse that you should know. So, if you have Michelle, if you have a tattoo that's covered up, that maybe your
Okay.
coworkers or friends aren't going to know you have a tattoo on your,
Right. Right. Right.
or if you have a birthmark somewhere, that's so things like that. Or they ask favorite foods, what time you get up in the morning, kind of, the person's life and routine.
Okay.
Lastly, they ask about the marital residence and the marital schedule.
Okay.
How many bedrooms in the apartment? How many TVs? How many computers?
Mm.
How much is the internet bill? When is trash day? What day is alternate side parking? And they do that. So what we do is we make sure when we file an application that the client has all the documents first, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
We prepare, right? So I've been in so much of these interviews that at this point I have a list of the questions that they typically ask.
Okay.
But then I call my clients in and I do a mock interview prep.
Okay. Okay.
And I act like the officer, right? So if I'm them, I'm like, Michelle, when did you meet your husband? And I'm gonna act very,
Mm.
the way they do, And if
Right. Right.
you say something like and I'll be like, ma'am, you're thinking too long. Why do you need to think about the day of your you met? Things like that. And then I kind of throw
Okay.
them to prep them, and then by the time they go to the interview, they know what to expect.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is really dope because you are not trying to make people fail in this process, right? Your
No,
goal is to help them to get that
yeah,
that card.
right. Because it's interesting. I mean, you can't guarantee anybody the green card, right?
True.
But
True.
let's be real. People come to you because they wanna get through. They're spending their
Yeah.
money, time, energy. So it's like you have to do everything you can in your power to help them achieve that goal, right? I mean,
Definitely.
sometimes if their client doesn't prepare, or if
Mm.
they don't join documents, or we get an officer that's a little bit goes too hard and whatever, that happens. But it's never going to be a lack of preparation on our parts to get you there.
Okay. So earlier you mentioned about you've had a lot of men who come in and are like, "Oh, she's using this as a threat." What's the percentage of men that come into you with that conversation?
Oh, I would say at this point it's nearly half half. Half the vows,
Wow.
and partly let's be a little bit fair. When people figure it out that that is a way, then they people will go use that route, right? So before, men were like, oh, they're not going to give me a vow. I mean, how's gonna? And then they were like, no, I mean, women typically don't beat up the guy, so they're not going to come in with the physical that, but they'll say, oh yeah, I have text messages of
Okay.
her speaking to me, crazy. I have
Mhm.
friends that can write a letter or an affidavit stating that we were at at a friend's house, and she did this. Then so yeah, so it ends up being about half half, and it's quite honest. It's become such. It's opened up so many doors that it's become like almost an industry, because now there's
Wow.
therapists that will see the vow clients and do an evaluation on their distress. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So now it's become a thing, especially now with society's really moved forward with this mental health,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there's people, the therapists that typically would just do regular sessions are now saying, yeah, we'll take clients that want to come in and do an evaluation of whether
Mm.
their relationship was traumatic, and
Okay.
get those reports, and then USCIS respects it because it's coming from. And yeah, so it's been a
Wow.
game. Yeah.
Wow. I like the fact that they have this whole new process now where you can actually provide the proof, right? Because anybody could walk in and say, "Well, she or he is threatening not to give me my green card." Now
Yeah.
you're saying that they have a therapist that they can talk to, and also they bring their evidence, cell phone, text messages, emails,
Yes.
whatever the case may be.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And then the therapists are they do their job. So sometimes people go there and they say, I remember one therapist told me, guy was coming and he was complaining, oh, my wife lied about this, and she won't cook, and she comes home late. He won't listen to me. And the guy was like, that's marriage. Like, I don't people have, it's like, that's not traumatic, but that's not about. They'll turn it away if it's not a true vow.
Right, right, right,
But if
right.
something's
Okay.
toxic, they'll do an evaluation and say, no, this person suffered trauma. But if it's
Okay.
just like the regular ups and downs
Marriage
of
stuff.
marriage, yes.
Yeah. Okay. One of the other questions I have is like, how long does it take to get citizenship through a citizen spouse, and what are the facts that need to be in play?
Say that again. What is the?
How long does it take to get citizenship
Mhm.
through a citizen spouse, and
Right.
what are the facts that need to be in play?
Great question. So if you are seeking citizenship based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, you
Hmm.
can there. It's 3 years is the mark, but you can technically file your application 2 years and 9 months after you get the green. Three
Okay.
months short of it. You file it, and really, they don't ask you marriage questions at the citizenship interview, but they just do like a small check, like a cursory check to see you're still married. So they may say, you and your wife still live together. Do you guys file joint taxes? And as long as you don't, you don't lack those documents, they'll grant you the citizenship.
Okay, so you mentioned filing joint taxes. Is that something that's important when you're doing this process? Because
You
some people are married and still file single.
Yeah, or modifying separate is a very big thing. Yeah.
Right.
So I'll say this much: USCI, us as practitioners, sometimes we get on USCI's case because they, for green cards or citizenships through marriage, they have a heightened standard, and they expect uh, immigrants that are doing this process to have a higher standard than most other Americans, right? So most
Okay.
Americans don't have a life insurance. They don't have every single bill.
Right, right, right.
Most Americans, the wife is the phone bills under the wife, the rent is covered by, what I mean. People share the bills, right?
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
have every single, but they kind of expect you for that. And one of the big ones is joint taxes.
Okay.
For some reason, if they don't see joint taxes, they start to ask a lot of questions. So
Oh,
we
okay.
always tell clients, I know it's tough, but just for these next couple of years, do joint taxes, because you're right. Sometimes you have somebody who's self-employed and the other person who's W-2, and they're like, I don't want to pay back.
Right. Right.
But it's just one of those. It's best to, it's not, you don't have to do it, but everything's a sliding scale. So if you have joint credit card, joint bank statement, joint lease, but then you don't have a joint taxes, it's fine. But if you don't have, if you have if you have three things and not one, they balance it.
It balances.
But,
okay.
So I also, if you don't have one, try to get two of something else.
Okay. Okay. Good. Can my oh wait. Remember back in the days, they had this idea that if you have a baby, if you're an immigrant, illegal immigrant, and you have a baby, that you automatically get your residency or citizenship or whatever. Is that still happening, or that's not a thing anymore?
Right. So if still same thing. But the child has to be 21 to file for you. So then now they want the child to be an adult.
Okay.
So if you come in, but if you came in you overstayed your visa, you have a U.S. citizen child here, you got to wait till that child is 21. So
wow.
Yeah, to be an adult to file for you. So, so it's for most people, they're like, I don't want to wait 21 years to get legal. So, they find another way, right?
Yeah. Now, did that just change, or that's been going on for a little while?
For a good while now.
For a good while. Okay. All right. So I looked up something today, and it says that there's a form called the I-601A. What is that form?
Yeah, great question again. So for those people who came in either over the border, okay, visa never got inspected, came over the border, or so for those, or if you have you don't have your stamp or your visa, you don't have any proof of your entry, and you have a spouse or a child to file for you, then the 601A waiver waives your unlawful entry,
okay,
or unlawful presence.
Okay.
Right. So typically those are used. I'll give you an example how it's mostly used. Somebody comes over the southern border, right? And they come here. I come over the southern border from, let's say I come from Brazil.
Okay.
And marry a U.S. citizen here, but I have no entry. So she can't file. She can file for me, but I can't get the green card here. So then after the marriage part is approved, then I file the 601A.
Okay.
They approve the waiver. Then I travel back to Brazil. I do medical there. I do the interview at the U.S. Embassy in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and then I come back in.
Okay.
Another instance is, let's say I came with a visa from Jamaica. Okay. I overstayed. But I'm not married. I'm 23 years old. I'm not married. I'm young, and but my mother is a citizen or a green card holder, either or.
Okay.
And she files for me, but I have unlawful presence because I overstayed a visa. And they don't waive that unlawful presence unless the sponsor is a spouse, U.S. citizen spouse, or a U.S. citizen adult child. But if it's anybody else filing for you, you have that unlawful presence. So I file a 601A waiver. I go back to Jamaica and I come back in.
Okay. That works. Can my employer get me a work permit?
So your employer can file for you, depending on the type of visa. It is H-1B, or if they're doing a perm process. Now, the thing with the employer visas is, again, you have to be in status. So what happens with people sometimes is they come in from, Barbados, from, Costa Rica, from wherever. They overstay their visa. Then they're not going to let you have an employer file for them. So what has to be done is you have to say come in on a visitor visa, switch to a student visa,
and
stay in status, and then have the employer file for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. So, but I'm trying to encourage our community to take more use of it, because other communities, particularly the Asian community, India, Japan, Philippines, etc. They and even Europe, they use the employer visas so much. And as you know, Michelle, our community, Caribbean community, are a lot of employers. A lot of people are self-employed.
Yeah.
Have salons. They have professional services, right? Accounting, tax services, etc. And we can hire people, but we often wait till somebody is out of status. So to do it with the employer, it's a very, sometimes it's even easier than doing it with family based, but
Okay. Okay.
you just have to be more strategic from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How much does that cost about to do that?
Depends on what kind of visa. If you're trying to do H-1B, the filing fees are about 2,000. If
Mhm.
you're doing term, same thing. It's about 1,800. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, it's about the same as the filing fees for if you're doing it through marriage or through parents.
Okay. Um, so can you tell us about the national interest waiver, where is getting a green card because you have an advanced degree? So say you come from Jamaica, Guyana, wherever, and you have a doctorate or a master's degree.
Right.
Can you use that to get citizenship?
Yeah, you can use it first to get a, like an O visa, extraordinary visa, right? Where, like you said, you are somebody with you're a value to the U.S. You're an asset. So
Mm.
they start you with that visa, like the O visa. Then you get a green card, and then you ultimately, after 5 years, you can apply for your citizenship.
Okay. Is that a quick process or that's another lengthy type of thing?
Right. So the O visa might be, to get to that part, maybe a year, 13
Okay.
months. And then once you get that, then you can file your perm. That's another 18 months. And
Okay.
green card. So maybe getting a green card that way might be 2.5 years, 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
But
are you? Go ahead.
but along the way, you have a valid visa. You can work. You can travel. So
That was my question.
yeah. So
That was
it's
going to be my question because what would be the point of me doing all this if I can't do anything with these degrees that I have?
right. Yeah. No, you can travel and work and still get a lot of the benefits. And then soon enough, you become a green card holder. And along the way, yeah, usually you're gonna have a good job too because somebody is gonna spot some organization or private company is gonna sponsor you.
Okay. Now, if you have a situation where, let's say, two individuals get into a domestic violence situation,
Hmm.
and I believe, from what I can remember, that if you have any type of criminal charges, domestic violence, any of those things on your criminal record, that you can't file for citizenship. Is that true?
Right. So the very technical legal standards. So you cannot have they classify convictions for immigration as two categories: crimes against moral turpitude, which is like I don't know, simple assault,
Okay.
petty theft,
Mhm.
marijuana under 25 grams,
Okay.
that are smaller, and then what they consider aggravated felonies: robbery, murder. And sometimes even other assault with a weapon, things
Mhm.
like this. Doesn't even have to be a real felony for even controlled substances. Let's say like if you have I had a client who had a small batch of heroin, and that constituted. So you can't have an aggravated felony. It has to be a CIMT, and you have to be clean for 5 years prior to you filing.
Okay.
So you can have something in like 2012,
Okay.
2015, 2007. You can have sometimes multiple convictions and arrests. I did one last week. We went to the interview. The client had 12 arrests between
Woo.
1998. Yeah, 12 convictions between 98 and 20, I think 14. But
Okay.
he had been clean from the past 5 years, so he was okay.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. So I just asked that question because that was a question that somebody asked me to ask.
Right.
Just because things happen, and we go back to the using that paper as a threat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know a lot of this information, that even though you have those things on your record, you're still able to get a green card.
Correct. I'll say two things about that, and I always tell people, uh, if you have a criminal record and
Mhm.
you're either seeking a green card or seeking citizenship, right? Even if you have a green card but you're looking to consult with us, consult with
Okay.
because you want to also be 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 sure that you're able to travel because when you travel, even on your green card and you have past convictions, when you come back, that's when they sometimes try to pull your green card and put you.
Oh.
Yeah, and it wasn't happening before, but Trump came in and
Mm.
kind of made that the standard. Like anybody who tries, they're checking your record, and people would have a conviction from 82, 84.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were getting pulled aside. So you want to make sure you're safe. The other thing is that also you should come consult us, because some of these convictions, especially the marijuana, the criminal courts are vacating and overturning these past convictions because it is legal now.
Yeah.
And as you know, Michelle, you've been around New York a while, so back then they were dinging people for joints, for little spliffs on the park, for a dime sack,
Yeah.
especially people of color, and
Yeah.
people took a lot of small little, convictions for marijuana possession or marijuana usage and things like that nature, and it could harm your case. But now we're vacating those, so come on in and we'll take care of those.
Yeah, that was one of my questions I was going to ask you. Now that the laws have changed in regards to marijuana, how is it affecting the immigration?
People are going to go vacate. I had somebody in Jersey he got his vacature in a month. He had a possession charge. I was like, listen, this stops you. You can't get your green card.
Wow.
He's like, oh, I don't want to go back on this. I was like, listen, this is the only way. Put it in, boom, and it was sorted out. And then now he's applying for his green card.
Okay, nice. I like that. If someone files for me, do I have to live with them?
Yes. yes, you do. So I'm gonna give you the legal answer, by the book. Yes, right. But practically, this is what's happening with people, that they at least remember, going back to what we said, where people at least appear to live together on paper.
Yes, right.
But so I will say yes. My legal answer is absolutely you have to, but at the bare minimum, people have to at least have to cope at some point and have some
piece of clothing, something. Something there, right?
Yeah, because let's be real. Immigration again wants this perfect situation, right, where people are living. But this happened a lot in pandemic. Well, people left the state. People I have clients who are truckers, and they're like, "I'm not home like that. I'm on the road." So
right.
Live, in Irvington, New Jersey, but I'm not around. On the road. So, but I'm like, okay, at least make sure your address, ID, your bills, everything has, is home base with your spouse.
Okay. I just have someone just asked a question on the live. How long do they have to live together?
No, as soon as the marriage begins. So they don't have to have any time before that. But when the marriage begins, through their process, through the immigration process, they have to have.
So once we're done with the immigration stuff, I could tell you, peace out, see you later.
That happens too a lot of time. Yeah, people will get. We talked about the citizens holding it over the immigrant's head, right?
Yes. Yeah.
See the other side, where these people get married to a citizen, stick it out for the 12 months, get their green card, and they're like, deuces.
Yep. If that happens, right? Can the partner who gave them the green card, can that person be vindictive in any way? Have you seen any of those situations?
Right.
Or they can't stop it anymore after that.
So here's the thing. So if, let's say, I'll give you two scenarios where this tries to come up. One is, let's say you marry somebody, you're the immigrant, and you marry a citizen. And if you're married for under 2 years, by the time you have the interview, you'll get a 2-year conditional green card. You don't permanent 10-year green card. And that means at the end of those 2 years, you have to reapply for a permanent green card.
Okay.
So let's say somebody comes in, Michelle, you come in, you're like, oh, I'm trying to hustle this guy, whatever, you get married. Then 12 months later, you get the green card and you say bye, right? He's salty, okay? He may say, okay, well then, you might need my help again in 2 years. They're going to ask you, are you still married? You could do it based on divorce, but it's a little bit harder, right?
Okay.
So he might write to them and say, I'm divorced, so, she's going to do it on her own. And that doesn't pull your green card, but just make sure it wrote a little bit harder.
Okay.
The other way people say is they come and they get really salty and they say, I'm going to tell immigration it was a fake marriage. And I always tell people, I said, be careful with that. Why? Because it took 2 to do the marriage.
Yeah.
So the penalty for the immigrant is deportation. The penalty for the citizen, they can't deport the citizen. So they give them, the penalty for the citizen is $250,000 and up to 5 years in prison.
Did you say 250,000 in
Uh,
5 years?
Yeah, so I tell people, I'm like, yeah, you think you're gonna run around and write to immigration as a fake marriage? Well, then they're gonna say you were part of the fake marriage scheme,
Wow.
so you're snitching on yourself,
Wow. Oh
right?
wow.
Because people think that it's only the immigrant hustled me.
Yeah.
No, for the federal government, they're like both of you signed these forms.
Yeah.
You sponsored her,
Mm-hmm.
and and you set it up. Both of you are. So, but listen, I know you can, but don't, you
Don't
know,
do it.
don't start screaming fraud because you were there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, if two individuals, do the whole marriage thing to get a green card, and say a child is born in that marriage, because people tend to like each other,
Yeah, that
right?
happens.
Um, does that make the process go faster, or is the same time frame?
It's the same time frame, but what happens is the case is like it's it's virtually approved. It's like instantly approved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for immigration purposes, if they see a child out of the marriage, they
Hmm.
consider it a bona fide, completely valid marriage. The reason being is if a woman comes to me and says, Abner, I'm looking for a green card, please help me out, right? And I'm doing it strictly for papers, I'm not gonna have a child with her. I'm not gonna be tied to her for the next rest of my life with child support, you know what I mean? So people that do the marriage for the papers never have a child. Now, sometimes things incidentally happen, but they don't ever plan for that. But when they see two people come in with a child,
Hmm.
nearly always approved.
Okay. Okay. Um.
So that begs the question the other way around then. So you often see people filing for their baby mama or their baby father,
Hmm.
because they're like, hey, like and immigration tends to say, okay, all right.
Okay. Another question I had here on the live: does it matter who is filing, the man or the woman, and would it affect the time to complete the process?
It does not. No, immigration is like we were saying is completely gender neutral, and so two men can file for each other, two women can file for each other, a woman and a man. All types of relationships, dispositions can file for each other.
Okay. Um. Can did I ask you this one? Can my spouse cancel my green card, and under what circumstances?
Yeah, typically they can cancel if it's not approved and it's in process.
Okay.
So they can pull their sponsorship while it's pending, right? And say, listen, I'm not going to continue on with this and withdraw.
Okay.
Right. And then if they get it, sometimes, like I said, they can say, listen, we got the green card, but we're not living together anymore. Our marriage fell apart without screaming fraud, with just kind of saying like, I'm not with them anymore. I'm not with her anymore. And then
Okay.
withdraw. Yeah.
Okay. Can you apply for your own work permit and green card if you're being emotionally, physically, or intentionally abused by a stepchild?
Oh, um, by a stepchild. No. Uh, uh, like for a VAWA, you mean, right? For a
Yeah.
stepchild.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's typically biological child for the VAWA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is DACA still a thing? Like, how does the process of DACA work?
DACA is still going on if for renewals, but they're not taking new applications because uh,
Oh,
Trump came in. They fought it out in court because he was trying to stop it. It went to
yes.
appellate courts. It's kind of being waited if it's going to be heard by the Supreme Court. So in the meantime, they put a stay on new applications, but
Okay.
anybody that's been had DACA can still renew.
Okay. So, can you tell people what DACA is for those people that don't know?
DACA is deferred action for children that arrived here. So if you were a child that came here before you were the age of 16, between 2007, and you were anytime before 2007, and you were under 30 years old by 2012, right? So a lot of people were brought by their parents in 05, 06, 07. Um, Obama created DACA, where
Right.
it gives those people a work permit and legal status.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
they renew it every 2 years, and it gives you that.
Okay. So, should a person get a lawyer for a marriage based on green card purposes?
They should. I always say this: getting a green card through marriage is the fastest way to get a green card, but it's the most scrutinized way.
Yeah.
Meaning they look at it the most because it's the fastest way. You can get a green card in a year flat. Asylum takes 5-6 years, 3-4 years, right? Doing it through an employer could take 2.5 to 3. Getting married, 10, 11 months sometimes. Jersey very quickly. So because of that, everybody does it. So they look at it very, very closely.
Okay. Why do you think it happens so fast in New Jersey compared to other states?
So New Jersey is it's a lot more efficient.
Okay.
It has the efficiency of like New York or Connecticut, but less population. So New York is like very, very busy. They have a lot of people, but it's not as efficient. Jersey, their USCIS office in Newark, they're just efficient. And they look at all the evidence, and even for citizenship, they're the only one in this tri-state area that the day you get your appointment, if everything's through, they can swear you in that same day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, New York and Connecticut and Pennsylvania, they will tell you, okay, we're recommending it for approval. We'll do another background check. We'll send you the oath letter in 2 or 3 weeks. But New York, they do that check all beforehand, and if you're good, that same day you get the oath.
Okay. Now, does immigration do pop-ups? Like, do they have immigration investigators and those types of things?
They do. They're not using them as much now. Immigration really moves with each administration. So Obama, it was a certain kind of way, which was very compassionate and was very trying to bring in as many people with DACAs and et cetera. Trump obviously was like clamp down, put ICE on them, go to people's home, really use the investigative unit to check on people's homes, check on employers that are filing for employees and et cetera. And then Biden has kind of reeled that back in. But they can't. If you're put in the fraud unit, they will do what they call a site visit, a home visit.
Okay. Now, how do they determine like which application is a fraud application? Like, how does that work?
Great question. So 2 ways it typically happens. One is, if the applicant had done a previous fraud in a past application. So people,
okay.
They do some amnesty application back in the day, and then that didn't work. Then they marry the first woman, that doesn't work. Then they marry, and then they finally get the real wife 18 years later, right? Okay, you've done so much. We're
you're suspicious.
Yeah. The second way is if they come in at the interview and it's just complete BS, and they just they can just feel that they have a feeling these people paid each other to do this, right? That's one. But the most common way is through a tip. Usually it's called a poison pen letter. There's some coworker, some family member, something who's like, oh, I'm snitching. And then, I'll give you an example. I had a client in Denver, real marriage, right? Him and the woman knew each other from Jamaica.
Okay.
And, then he came here, he settled, he had married, he had lived. Then she came afterwards. They reconnected after so many years. She moved from New York to Denver. They were living there. He moved in her 2 kids. So he was the whole, stepchildren, all of it. He had an ex that was bitter when the wife moved to New York, wrote to them and said, that ain't his real wife. She's just trying to do papers, out of jealousy. They did a home visit.
Wow.
And then when they came in, they saw everything. They saw the kids, Game Boys and Nintendos. They saw, the wife's makeup. They're like, you guys actually live together. And then they hired me, and I did a complaint, and they're like, oh, here's the letter from the aggrieved girlfriend. So things like that happen to people.
Okay. Someone asks, what if a child is here and has overstayed?
Right. So if a child overstayed, so with children, you always want to catch their case earlier than later. So if a child comes, let's say, there's a lot more options for children. For instance, if a child comes in with a visa, when they are 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, you can get a step parent. That parent, let's say if I have a small child, I can be a U.S. citizen and have my U.S. citizen wife file for my child. Sometimes as children come in with just one parent, they can do a guardianship where they go to court. No matter how they came in, they do a guardianship and they can get a green card as long as they do that before they're 21. They do a
Okay.
DACA, right? So
Mhm.
there's many different ways for children. I always tell if you have, young children, anything under the age of 21, come see me because once they become adults, they are thrown in.
That's
But they have so if children don't have and they don't accrue any unlawful presence up until the 18 years old.
okay.
So you can come over the border, 4 years old, 5 years old, you don't have unlawful presence.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
many
Wow.
more children, but people have to seek it out. The
Yeah.
parents.
Because I think a lot of people, and the reason I wanted to have this conversation, and again, I'm sorry that it took so long. Um, the reason I wanted to have this conversation is that people don't know a lot when it comes to immigration, right?
Right,
Because you have many types of immigration attorneys who are not honest, not truthful. Half of them are just money hungry, and you never get this type of information.
right.
So I'm thankful that you're here providing this information to a lot of different people who are listening right now. And then you're from Somalia, you said, and I know that you said this is your passion. Have you ever gotten to the point where you're like, I'm just overwhelmed, like this is too much for me?
No, and actually, that's what made me stand out. A lot of immigration attorneys, especially in the Trump era, quit. They went. They. The older ones retired. The younger ones pivoted to criminal law or personal injury or contract, something else, right? Something less stressful than that.
Hmm.
But the course, because this is it's a calling for me. Like I said, I've been through this. I've been doing immigration. I feel like my whole life, even as a young kid. So I stayed the course, and I'm here for the long haul. And thankfully, I have a robust office. I have 3 attorneys. I have 5 paralegals, 2 legal assistants. So we have a lot of we have a great team, and it's growing. So
Nice. And this is your law firm, correct?
correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me about that. Like, how did you decide to do that? Like, how did that happen?
Right. Actually, so I was practicing as an associate for other immigration firms,
Okay.
and you know, I actually started kind of building a name for myself because I started to do. So immigration is federal law. You can, if there's an immigration violation, you can sue in federal court. And a lot of people started suing in Trump during his years.
Yeah.
So so I did a lot of those cases, especially for the Muslim ban when he was like doing the
Mm,
Muslim ban. And I had the second case that was had an injunction. The first one was in Washington, and the second one was ours in California. So I started kind of building a reputation for an advocate that will sue the government,
okay.
take on the difficult cases. So I started to do that. But as I was working for these other firms that weren't working for my community, right? They
Mm,
were working for one was primarily Middle Eastern, another one was Spanish, right? Another was like Chinese, and I wanted to work. I always said I wanted to work with Black immigrants, right?
okay.
So whether they're Caribbean, whether they're Afro Latin, etc.
Mhm.
And so thankfully, but the last firm I'd worked for was like, you can bring in your clients and, I'll give you a referral fee and you can work the cases. So I
Okay.
started like that and I started building my clientele. And I got to the point where people were like, yeah, I want to use you. You're knowledgeable, you fight hard. And I said, okay, let me take the leap and go off on my own.
Okay. Now, do you always, because I'm sure that people have come to you with different stories, right? A lot of different stories. Um, does anything surprise you anymore when it comes to immigration? The questions?
That's good. Mostly not, but every so often I get cookie case that I enjoy. I truly do enjoy. My associates are always giving me a hard time because they're like, "Why do you seek out the challenging, difficult case?" So I do get, I do, but yeah, every so often I'll get a case where I'm like, "Wait, what is this?" Right? So I can never say I've seen it all,
Okay.
but I do get, yeah, I do get some very challenging cases.
Do you constantly do research with those cases and with even the cases that you think you know everything? Are you constantly doing research because people are coming to you for answers, right?
Correct.
Are you constantly doing research to make sure that you're giving them the correct information?
Yes. So what what I made it my mission when I started my own firm. A lot of attorneys, when they begin their own firm, they get so busy with the business of running the law firm that they don't have more, right? And so I always tell people, when you hire me, I'll be doing your work,
Okay.
right? Stay in the. I have associates that do it. I'll review it always. I'll go to court. So I still make it my business to practice law because that actually is my passion. Running the firm is a necessity that I need to do, but I do enjoy the practice of law. So I will stay late at night, write the motions, write the briefs. I'll go to the difficult court cases, and I, stay sharp.
Okay. I like that because again, when you're doing a business, people like to know that, you're available, you know what you're talking about, and you're going to get the job done.
Absolutely. It's funny. I got some backlash a couple years ago because I was saying that. I think I made a comment saying, when you come to me, I'll actually do the work. And
Oh,
a lot of older heads got mad because they don't do the work anymore, right?
okay.
They're like, oh, look at young buck, you're taking shots. When you get to be our age, you won't be doing. And I'm like, no, I'm going to distinguish myself. I know you guys don't do the work. I mean, sometimes they've forgotten themselves. I had one older attorney, and he thought it was like a flex to say, I haven't been to court in 25 years. I'm like,
Wow.
good. I don't want to go to a doctor's office and a doctor say, I haven't been in a surgery room,
Yeah.
25 years. I'm not going to go to you to do my operation then, right?
Correct.
That's not a flex, bro. Like you
Right.
shouldn't say, right? But he meant like I have an army of lawyers that I don't need to. Well, that means you're not the guy. And so him and some others took offense to it. But Michelle, the reality is because a lot of the older attorneys that controlled the legal industry were not black, were not immigrant, were not right, we're not of the communities that they're servicing. So they feel a certain level of threat, and my whole thing is I'm just as personable as my clients because I was on the other side of that conference room table.
Yeah. As a child, yeah, definitely.
So I'm that, and people always tell me, "Wow, Abeder, you actually give me knowledge, along the way about immigration law that's useful, and I enjoy doing the work. So I'm always going to do it. I'm always going to do the work."
Okay. How does your parents feel now that, you guys came over, you got asylum and those things, and they see you doing this work? Like, how do they feel about that?
I mean, proud, like super ecstatic about it. Uh, you know, my mom is always like, we made it. Like
Mm.
she made a lot of sacrifices. Like I said, it was 7 siblings of mine, and her and my father. My father had passed away, so I'm not speaking. But they both raised me. But yeah, they made their sacrifices, and they did so because they wanted to see us succeed. And now, thankfully, me and most of my siblings are all professionals. We're all doing well. So to them, it is worth it. And so sometimes when clients come to me and they're like, how long is the process? How much is the immigration filing fee? How much is the legal fee? And I always tell them, listen, you can always earn more money back. You can work a double shift and overtime.
True.
But if you let this time pass,
Yeah.
you never get that opportunity back.
Never.
Do you have your child's 17? Get them that green card now before they can go to college.
15, yeah.
If my parents said, how much is the attorney fees? How much is that? And didn't do asylum, Michelle, it wouldn't have mattered how smart I was. I would not have been a lawyer. I would have been, doing something else.
Something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to education, because sometimes you have children who come here from all over the place. They come and they stay with family, but they're school age. And going to school, they need all this paperwork for kids to be in school. What is the process of a parent or a guardian getting that child into school?
Right. So getting a child into they need just the passport and the child's birth certificate. Really, they could get the birth certificate. Some of these communities, people, especially the immigrants, will move to a community that's white, that's not community color, and they might try to give them a hard time. But it's federal law. Children have to go to school no matter their status.
Okay.
So they can't say, they might try to be like, well, I don't know, we need more documents. No, if your child lives in that zone and is, entitled to go to that school, they have to let them into that public school. There is no, well, come back with this. Just need the birth certificate to verify. If they have past school records, great. If not, they do a placement test to make sure that they're,
Up the par.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
every child, it's a federal law. Every child has to go to school, no matter their status.
Okay. Now, if a child, because I remember having a student who was in college and her student visa was about to be up. Um, what happens in that instance? Like, can she extend it? How does that? Can she get another sponsor? How
Yeah.
does that work?
Right. So for most people that have STEM, like science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM degrees, they can do what's called an OPT. So they finish their school, they do 1 year of optical training, so they can actually get a job and get a work permit, and then extend more a year. So they have 2 years to get a work practical training, work permit, and they can get out of and still have status.
Okay.
So we always tell people, hey, listen, if you're at the end of your school and you're on an F1 student visa, come see us, right?
Okay.
Because probably get an optical training, and that leads you into being sponsored by an employer. If not, then if they have let's say an art degree or a literature degree, then they could either try to get a master's and continue that student degree, or that's when they should start looking to see other kind of employer pick them up.
Mm.
They've been here many years at this point. Can they get married? Do they, are they in a relationship? Things like that. But for students, I always tell them, before you get to your senior year, make it your business to come see me so you could talk about your options well in advance.
Okay. Do you do any pro bono work? Because not a lot of people have money for all of this whole process.
Yes, I do pro bono. I typically work with like the nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
For me, but I do I do pro bono work. I take several pro bono cases per month. There's a lot of nonprofits that funnel pro bono cases my way. But if obviously I know you, if you know somebody, yeah, send them my way. And part of being a lawyer is helping people, right? You came into this; it's a vocation, right?
Yeah.
So it's just not always about making money. Sure, you have to meet your overhead and pay your bills, but yeah, you do this for the good of it.
Okay. I like that. Let me see what other question I have. Oh, hold on. Okay, the other one I had. What if you're married and your husband or wife no longer wants to file for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, those instances, it depends on what the reason is. If let's just say the marriage broke down, then it's unfortunate. You have to either divorce and find another route. But if it's because due to abuse, then you have a valid option. But if it's
So
not,
so somebody gets married and this individual then decides, I'm not going to go through this process with you. Do they get an attorney, or they just say, okay, well, I'm just going to go find somebody else to do it? Like, and can that attorney make that individual file?
no, I can't. And that happens from time to time. People come in and say, hey, I got married 7, 8 months ago. I've been bugging my wife or my husband to file for me. They're just not coming around to it. Finally, it came to head. Sat them down and I'm like, are you going to do this or not? And they're like, nah, I don't. I don't want to do it. I don't feel comfortable, whatever reason, right? And I tell them that's unfortunate. Nothing I can do. I can't force the U.S. citizen spouse to file for you, nor can, right? I can't. So yeah, so that sometimes does happen where people just don't want to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's all of the questions I have for you right now. This is something that I want to continue for us to do.
Yeah.
I know you have a busy schedule, but I think once a month we need to have, some immigration conversations, so that people can get in the know. Because believe it or not, a lot of people are not going to ask the questions because of fear.
Mhm. Yes.
I work in child services, and a lot of times when I know when someone is an immigrant off the back, because they avoid us. They think we're going to call on them and those types of things. So I'm glad that we're having these conversations because it's necessary. It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell people, let's have this conversation. Let's get the word out now. People don't understand how lenient the Biden administration is,
Mm.
right? And it's not here to stay. Like we don't
Right.
know if he's going to get reelected in 2020.
Next year, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's you don't want a situation where a Trump or even a DeSantis or somebody similar on the Republican side comes in, shuts immigration down again, and you feel like, oh wow, I missed my opportunity. So I say this to people: you want to get in and out with immigration administration. Get your application in and get out. Thank you, I got my green card. I'm safe. Thank you, I got my. I'm out. You really do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So now is the time, to get everything that you need to get in, so that you're able to. We don't know what next year holds, and not everyone that is president of this country likes this idea of immigration. This is one of the topics and the issues that they go after. They promise you things, and then when they come in, it's like, oh yeah, we don't care about you people anymore. Go
Right.
someplace else, right?
Right.
So now, and I get a lot of comments on Facebook. I will see people posting, oh, I don't understand why the government is giving immigrants, these illegal people, all of this stuff. And I always get upset because, again, I'm an immigrant and I understand the plight to get here and what it takes to stay here. Right. So when I see those things, it makes me upset that, we're still in 2023 and people are still saying those things about immigrants who are actually out here working under the table, doing whatever it takes to get food on the table and to have their families. What type of advice would you give to somebody who writes a status like that? Like, why are immigrants taking away our stuff?
Right. It's very unfortunate that happens. But luckily, at this point, there's so much statistics that show that immigrants, one, have a lower rate of crime, right? They don't come in and break the law. Typically, they come in and just work. Most immigrants actually pay into the system more than they actually get from the system. They pay taxes. They work hard. They do jobs that are undesirable. So at this point, I was talking about just you can do a quick Google search. If somebody says that, comments on it, just an article from U.S. News Report, or an article from CNN, or article from the Census Bureau. Boom, just post it, and then because there's so much evidence to show that immigrants are. But I also tell people, on the other hand, it should motivate you to, if you can, get your status sorted out and get legal, because immigration is becoming very polarized. While half the country is saying that, or smaller than half the country, it's maybe a third of the country that says that. The other majority is comfortable and is appreciative of immigrants, but you want to be able to say you're in good footing, because the topic has become very polarized.
Yeah, definitely. So I just got a text question. Um, if there is a way for someone who was deported to come back into the country legally.
That's a great question. I actually was wondering if you were going to touch on it. You didn't really touch on any of the removal deportation proceedings. So yes, if you got deported, you have to stay out 10 years. So many people, it's a rough penalty.
Wow.
But you finish your 10 years, and if your deportation wasn't due to something some things are like kind of permanent in a sense, right?
Okay.
But most of them are not. They just, like, the person didn't have a valid visa. Their visa had expired, and they got a DUI. Then they got thrown in proceedings, and they got sent back home in 03 or 04.
Mm-hmm.
Folks like that, you can come back. For folks that are here in the country, a lot of people have a removal order from the 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, and they're still here. They never got picked up by ICE. There is ways to reopen your case. So you should call our office if you have a prior removal order. Because if your circumstances change, if you're married now, if your child is over 21, you can reopen your case.
Okay. All right. Oh, that was a lot of information. I'm keeping some questions because I know that we're gonna continue to do this.
Yeah.
It is Black History Month, yes, but we're Black every day, right? You're an immigrant every day, right? That doesn't change. Because that blue passport still has country of birth,
Yes.
not the United States of America, correct?
Correct.
Right. Why do they do that? Like, why is that a thing?
Yeah, that's really, I believe, is to kind of track people and
Uh,
to differentiate. It's funny they say a citizen. It's true by the law, naturalized citizen and natural born citizen are the same, but they don't treat you like that sometimes, right? When you are traveling, and they do say, oh, well, where oh, I see you're from Somalia. I see you're from Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana. Uh,
mhm.
but I always tell people don't get rattled by that. You're still a citizen. You still have the blue passport. You still can vote. You can still sit on a jury. You can still get into politics. So do all those things.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I tell people all the time. I may be an American citizen, but my passport says country of birth,
Correct.
Guyana.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Aberdare, I want to thank you so much. Please give everybody all of your information, social media, email, telephone number, everything that where they can find you.
So I'll start with social media. You can find me on Instagram at Barre Law Firm, BarreLawFirm. The Barre Law Firm. That's on Instagram. If you want to do Facebook, it's just Barre Law. The office is open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. We're in downtown Manhattan. We do in person and virtual consultations. The phone number is 646 894 5900. That's 646 894 5900.
Okay. Do you give discounts on referrals or?
Yeah, I do. So we could set up something with Get with the Fix, and
Okay.
they say so, and yeah.
Okay. Barry Abar, I want to thank you so much for having this conversation. I know I said it will be 30 minutes, but we've been here for like an hour or so. And I do appreciate you giving all of that information. Of course, I do video recording so that I can repost information on my social medias.
Yeah.
And all of those questions that I asked you were valid, legit questions from different people. They didn't want to ask it under your picture.
Uh,
But I got inboxes and phone calls and those types of things. So I thank you for having us being here tonight. And like I said, this is not going to be the end of things. Okay,
I
we're
hope not.
definitely going to have this conversation, continue to have these conversations.
I welcome it. And, like I said, immigration is my passion, so I didn't even notice the time flying by. But conversation all night, all the time. So I look forward to coming back on. I appreciate and thank you for the time that you gave me tonight, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
All right, thank you so much, and have an amazing night.
You too.
All
Take care.
right, thank you. Get with the fix, Michelle G. That was Barry Law Firm on air. As I said, my computer died. I don't know what's going on with my computer. It won't charge. Oh, it just started charging. Look at God. Look at God. Wow. Sometimes technology, boy, I tell you, but I guess no, I know that I am a God blessed child and my computer was not charging the entire show, but it has begun to charge. So I am going to pull up my Serato and I'm going to play some music and we're going to come back with some more conversation. I've decided that yes, this platform a lot of times we do artist interviews, but it's also necessary for us to have the important conversations around immigration. Coming up, like I said, this month is Black History Month. So I am going to be talking to different businesses in the area. If you know anyone who wants to, be on Get with the Fix that has a business and they're Caribbean, just black, just be black. Because it's Black History Month. Let me know. The interviews are gonna go into March. Just because I wasn't here last week. I'm doing better now, thank God. But I want to have different conversations this year when it comes to our community because it's important for us to get all of this information. I'm sure people listen to this show a lot of times and you don't know who's listening. But people listen, and I just want to make sure that we're giving out some proper information. I enjoy doing this show. I enjoy doing this show. It takes me away from everything else that I do. And I love giving information. I love giving people information because we need to know things. We just don't need to know about partying and all of those other things, but we need to know things that are happening in our community and those types of things. And each month is a different, domestic violence month, child abuse, and all of those things. So we're going to continue to have those conversations. I'm sure a lot of my other counterparts on the other radio stations who run this show as well, they do have their own conversations as well. But DJ Yardy on Get With The Fix introduced me to Barry law firm, and we were supposed to actually have these conversations last year, but I guess my schedule wasn't allowing it. But nothing happens before it's time, and now we're here having the immigration conversation. Get With The Fix, Michelle G. We are streaming on Blaze Radio, getwiththefix.net, Majestic, which is in Brooklyn, New York, Metric Radio in New Jersey, Mighty Mix in New Jersey, Coffee Radio in Florida, My Tuner Radio online, Roku TV, YouTube, Facebook, and Google Play. Get With The Fix, Michelle G. I'm going to play my dub again because this song right here is Ninja Crown, leave me alone. This song right here is one of the hottest songs right now around the world. Like everybody is doing this dance. We are on the ground. And I had to get my dub. So shout out to Naj and Sean Nizzle. Thank you guys so much. So I'm gonna play it again.
So yes, the man I don't know, sir, not representing for MichelleG, I don't know, sir, she said get to the fix. Say yes, no. And she said rich badness. And she are on the ground. Yo, New Jersey. Po. Rich badness and MichelleG, them style big Benz park up and elastic punk Kyle. Bust tune go and go run R5. Be a star she par with fam, she a juvenile MichelleG run the ground. A worldwide badness, what them a say? And she play the most hit song, what them a say? She ain't it a jip, bad clocks on her foot. She don't listen boy way a chat, what them a say? A worldwide badness, what them a say? And she have up the hottest set of dubs, what them a say? She ain't it a jip, bad clocks on her foot. She don't listen boy way a chat, what them a say? Yo, MichelleG, pocket no fracture. You're up to the time, just like that watcher. Your cologne a thumb, just like a boxer. Catch a sound in your net, just like a lobster. I mix them clean, just like that mafia. We are big T, big crew. When them see you put the bar at your foot, you not take liquor right near me in a book. Run the ground. A New Jersey badness, what them a say? And you play the most bad song, what them a say? Chain it a jib, bad clocks by your foot. In a little boy where you chat, what them a say? A New Jersey badness, what them a say? And you play the artist set us.
You know the craziest thing, and I made this on my post today, like I am that girl, like I love music, like love music, right? And I'm that girl, like when you have these types of platforms and these shows, like you need to have these things, right? And I used to be that girl that would reach out to folks like, yo, who do I get a dub from? Who do I talk to? Da 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 da. I have built so many relationships and connections and networks now that I don't need to go to anybody. I don't need to go to anybody. Like I go straight to the source. You know what I mean? I go to the source, not bragging or nothing, but I go to the source because again, I have built enough relationships around here. I live in New Jersey, but say yes, Naman. I live in New Jersey, but my connections are all over the place, right? That it is. So let them say what they want to say. Oh, girl, I love you anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. People talking about us every day. Them a try hard to come a shuffle life and they have so much to say. My work close. Listen, I want to have a conversation about Mr. Vegas and Bounty Killer, but I can't have the conversation right now. I feel like I need to just do a separate video with this conversation between Mr. Vegas and Bounty Killer. And I don't know why y'all are not y'all, Mr. Vegas. Why are you including our boo? Like, why is Dexter involved in these conversations? I don't get it. Leave him alone.
We your name on the internet. When them a brief, when them a chat say, but you not pick up back, not know where you dash way. Them eyes wide open when you walk in. I'm a girl now your sexy dress. Oh yes. Them know the goodness that you.
I get when I posted my dub today, I got the how you get that. Like, do y'all know who I am? I get anything that I want. If I don't get it, it's because I don't want it. Okay?
My work closer today than yesterday, and I'll never leave you, I swear.
Yeah, the second Mr. DJ. On the enemy, we not get no leeway. You got us now like TVJ. You know I'm a friend from them DJ. Don't say you're sorry, nobody apologize. So if I run once, it you run that twice. Don't need your friendship, leave us alone, cause we don't need your friendship. Can't you get already, you now get it again. You don't genuine, you with just a fake friend. We don't need your friendship, leave us alone, cause we don't need your friendship. Hey, them never the day yet when you need them. All when you take your loss and feed them. That's why know me I fear free them, cause them make people and mislead them. We not trust them again, that's why we not do it. Them we just take your life when you're dying or you sleep. I know what kind of friend them keep, but make me tell you our friendship don't come cheap. Don't say you're sorry, nobody apologize. So if I run once, it you run that twice. Don't need your friendship, leave us alone, cause we don't need your friendship. Can't you get already, you now get it again. You don't genuine, you with just a fake friend. We don't need your friendship, leave us alone, cause we don't need your friendship.
Me think self and GAL.
Gal.
Hear me now.
Anyway,
gal there. Road boy there. And the tongues them there. Cause a gal we say. Anyway, gal there. Gangsta there. Cause a gal we say. I just gal we say. Come now. Give me the gal them, all gal falling. Put it on Shelly and dash it on Charlene. Why not pushing gal bubble?
Can I tell y'all something? So I redid my entire studio, right? And when it was done, right? Because you know, sometimes you go through trials and tribulations with individuals, right? And when it was done, I said to myself, like, wow, girl. Remember that time, remember that day, remember that, you know, that people put you through stuff, right? And I'm sitting here in this studio, right? And nobody can tell me nothing, 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 at all, okay? Because when I redid this studio, I remember having a conversation with somebody and it brought me to tears, right? A few years ago. It brought me to tears. It brought me to tears. Not because I wanted to cry. It brought me to tears because I couldn't reach over the table and knock them in their face. That's why it brought me to tears. You know what I'm saying? Because when people have you under control, they treat you however they feel like. Right? And let me tell y'all something. I was raised by 7 men. And maybe that's my problem. I was raised by 7 men who always told me to always have your own so nobody could treat you like crap. So nobody could walk all over you. So nobody could take away nothing from you. That's what, and they've been telling me that my entire life. Okay? So when I redid this studio the other day, I stood in here, and from time to time, I come downstairs, I come down here, and I open these doors, and I look at it, and I say, God damn, Michelle, good job. Hi, Vary. Good job. Because let me tell you something. When you have your own, nobody can treat you like less. And I don't like when people treat me like less. I am not one of them girls. I would disappear from your life quickly, fast, in a hurry. Don't talk to me. Don't hit me up. I'm taking your number out my phone. I don't care how I care about you. If I love you, I don't give a damn. Don't treat me like less. And I don't like when people do that because I don't treat people like less. Okay? I've been without to make sure that somebody else have. And when people treat me a certain type of way, I get vexed. I just get vexed. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I've also learned to control my emotions. I don't know how that happened, but there are times when I want to post certain things on social media and I just leave it alone because I'm like, yo, I just leave it alone because I'm like, it's not gonna do anything, Michelle. So just left it. Just let it be. But I can guarantee you guys, right? And y'all could take this to the bank. I could repost this at any time I want to. Okay? Nobody could walk up in this studio, not a soul, and say that they own anything in here. Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay? Yes, I've had previous co-hosts and those types of things, but this show has always been Michelle G. This is mine. This is my baby. I've done what I needed to do to bring it to where it's at, and nobody could take it away from me. So anytime I get attacked on social media about this, I'm coming for your whole jugular. You know, your jugular vein, you just stick it one time and you're done. That's where I'm at with this, okay? I want to say thank you so much to Magaman. Magaman is my designer. He do all the flyers for this show. And I called Magaman and I said, yo, this is the idea that I have. This is how I want my studio to look. And he said, I bet, Michelle, I got you. Right? And he did all of the artwork that I posted on my social media. Now, when you look at my social media, you might not see the numbers that is being shown. But the other day I was scrolling and my thing came up as a sponsor. One of my pictures in the studio came up as a sponsor. And the amount of people that saw how the studio looked, if you swipe left on my social media, you'll see the numbers, okay? And a lot of people shared it also. But without Magaman, I wouldn't have these designs that I've been showing, and the screen that you see in front of you. It's not a background. It's not a green screen. It's actually the studio, right? And also shout out to Signs 1 and 9 in Elizabeth. I reached out in 2 days. This was done. 2 days this was done, right? And there's some more things that I have to get done in here. Shout out to David Shepard. He came here yesterday because I said to him, like, I need my camera setup to be a little different. I need it to be different. Like, there's some things that are going through my head and I'm trying to take this to another level. So when you want to take things to another level, everything has to be right. So shout out to Sheppy. David Shepard came through yesterday and he was like, Michelle, I got you. These are all the things that you need. So before this month is over, on God, you're going to see this studio looking a whole lot different. The cameras and everything will be set up perfectly just how I want it. I only need people in my life who got my back. I don't want nobody else around me. Okay? I get a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages and a lot of conversations and a lot of voice notes and a lot of things that people say in regards to me. But these are the same people that I would drop what I'm doing to rescue them, and I have. But that's just me being the loyal person that I am. But this year, I've decided that I'm not doing that no more. If you don't got me, I don't have you. Okay? That's just what it is. You can't call me for nothing. The other day, I've deleted a lot of people's numbers out of my phone because I don't want anybody reaching out to me for nothing. When you call me and I say, who this? Know that you are that person that I have deleted, even if I know your number out of my head. Because at the end of the day, I am a solid person. If you say you need something and I got it, you got it. I jump for people that I probably shouldn't have. But that is just what it is. That's just who I am. That's how I was raised. That's why I get all of the blessings that I get on a regular basis, because I am true to me and I am true to other people that I love and care about. But I realize that people don't love you the same way that you love them. So you can't keep doing the same thing because it's insanity. You just can't. You gotta stop. Okay? You gotta stop. I also want to say, I know my mother is outside. I just want to say that, you know, when I did my dissertation, the 172 pages of it, I actually thought that I was done there. But for the last couple of months, sick and all, for the last 2 weeks, I haven't been to work in 2 weeks. I haven't been to work in 2 weeks. I've been doing another set of publishing, right? And my stuff is about to be published again. And it broke down to about 33 or so pages, right? And it's about to be published again in the UK, right? It's about to be published in the UK and the United States again, right? Now, my mother brought me here for a reason, right? Most of us are immigrants. Our parents brought us here for reasons. And while people always ask me, how do you do this? Who do you think you are? Da 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 da. I'm doing all of this to make sure that my son and his kids don't have to go through some of the things that I've been through. That's the American dream, right? It's home ownership, it's car, all of these things that you own. But at the end of the day, you're creating a path and a future for your future generations so that they don't have to suffer. If I leave this earth today, my son is good. And I've busted my butt to make sure that he is, okay? So when you see me posting certain things, I know I get the shade, I get all of that. I mean, y'all be doing y'all subs or whatever. That is whatever it is. Do you? If that makes you feel good, do you? But let me help you understand something. I will tell your truth. Okay? I will tell your truth. And your truth is not pleasant. All right? So go ahead and carry on with whatever you want to carry on with. At the end of the day, I don't go to nobody if I'm hungry but my mother. Understand that. I will call her. I'm hungry. Feed me. And I will be fed. Right? So nobody else can say they feed me. Because they don't. All right? She's the only person that could say, I feed this girl when she ain't had nothing. When she was hungry. And while that may be her parental right, she didn't have to do it, but she do it. Right? So I just want y'all to know that while you people are on social media carrying on with your, whatever y'all be carrying on with, because I see the stuff. I see them. It's sent to me. I read them. I laugh. You know, all of that kind of stuff. It's whatever to me. I don't care. I don't care. I could care less. But I just want y'all to know, I don't care. Like I said, there's been people who went on radio platforms and had conversations about me and da-da-da-da-da. I never went on anybody's station and had a conversation about anything that happened with anybody that used to be on this show. And I have no intentions of, right? Well, what y'all not going to do is y'all not going to keep throwing shade at me, right? Because I'm going to answer y'all back. I've been called book smart. I've been called dumb. I've been called stupid by black women. All of these other things. And I'm like, I bet. But are you doing better than me? Is the question I got for you. One time I was at a party and this lady was on the microphone and I walked in with my Louis Vuitton bag that my mother bought me when I graduated with my master's degree or something like that. $2,500 bag. Yeah. I'm going to tell y'all how much it is. She got on the microphone and she was like, oh, you got this big expensive bag, but do you have $25 to $100 in your bank account? I know I can't say the B word on here, but let me tell you something. Go to hell. Okay? Go to hell because you don't know me. Okay? All right.
You're not bunty, but you're hungry and you're cross. No, so tell a girl come bounce now. Girl say Ray, how your back broad. I pan a girl cause you know you wanna swipe ya. Girl say Ray, how your back broad. And you now catch a girl yard. Muggle and take the runway. Cause your hairstyle dear and your clothes them real. Girl muggle and take the runway. Muggle and take the runway. Girl you never drop a jail for no clutching. Which girl a hype and she ain't got nothing. Big Sunday and she get up and eat muffin. She must never hear about oxtail and mutton. Alright then I wish girl me here a live on welfare. Can't find lace still a wear synthetic ear.
Let me break down my sponsors for tonight. So March 18th, DJ Yardy. Yo, Yardy, what up? Fashion and class, the tie and heels edition. Yo, what? So I could just walk in a party with tie and heels, Yardy? Is that what you're saying? March 18th. This is in New York City. DJ Yardy, of course, is on Get With The Fix every, oh gosh, Monday, Friday. I lost count. Whatever you feel like, he's on here. But he is one of the sponsors for tonight, Fashion and Class, the tie and heels edition. That is March 18th in New York City. Okay. Also, this is one of my favorite guys. Debo, he's one of my favorite people. Because Debo is one of those people that I could call or text. I'm like, yo, Debo, I'm struggling with such and such and such. And he always has the resolution, or he always provides me with some advice. And he lives all the way in Connecticut. But like today, I was like, yo, Debo, what a tax guy, yo, what a tax guy. I can't find a tax guy. He was like, oh, nah, Michelle, I think he changed his number. He gave me the number, you know what I'm saying? And I got my tax guy back, right? So shout out to Debo and the full 100 squad. They have their event February 10th, which is this weekend, called Antics Matters Life. And that is being held in Connecticut. On the bill is Chris Diamond from Code Red, Sir Toxic from Florida, and of course, Famous International from New York. And also, sound system is provided by Love Harmony. The address for that is 38 Fairfield Avenue, Bridgeport, Connecticut, sponsored by Crown Media House. Of course, Debo also does photography, people. So if you need a solid photographer, and he travels, so he'll come from Connecticut to Jersey to New York, wherever. He does great work as well. So reach out to him. That is February 10th. Their party is called Antics Matters Life. Okay. My other sponsor for tonight is, of course, Magnificent. That is July 30th. July 30th is Magnificent here in the state of New Jersey. I think this is their either third or fourth staging of this event. You know, this is one of those classy event. You see, I'm not saying party, right? Classy event where everybody comes out looking real dope. Get With The Fix is on the bill for this event, July 30th. Shout out to Magnificent, the whole squad, all of the fellas. Of course, once the party comes around close in July, where they're definitely going to be here in the building, giving away tickets, having conversations, and all of those types of things. So shout out to all of my sponsors for tonight. The other sponsor I want to talk to you about, her name is Jovi. She is my hairdresser, and she is in Orange. Her salon is called it used to be Glitz and Glamour. Is it still Glitz and Glamour? Wait, hold on. Let me see. Yes, it's Glitz and Glamour in Orange, New Jersey. Her name is Jovi. You know, call her, text her. Let me give you all the phone number for her. She's not a talker on the phone, so I'm not even gonna bother her because she's like, Michelle, no. But her phone number is 973-651-6274. If you need the hair, she'll buy it for you. She'll stitch it, she'll sew it, she'll glue it, she'll whatever you need done. She will get that done for you. She also has other stylists in her salon. She is the owner of Glitz and Glamour in Orange. She's been a hairdresser for many years. My son is about to be 18, and she's been doing my hair before that. I'm loyal to her only. That's it. To her only. That's it. That's where I stop. But shout out to Glitz and Glamour Jovi. Like I said, her number is 973-651-6274. If you don't have the hair, no problems, no worries. She got you. Whenever she goes away on vacation, I'm always tracking her down, like, when are you coming back? I need my hair done. But I love her to death. Okay. So those are my sponsors for tonight. Like I said, it's Black History Month. We're Black every day though, and around here, I think everybody that I speak to mostly is Black. So I guess I'm doing Black History every month on this show. Every Wednesday, my show is full of Black History information. As I was stating earlier, shout out to Kabaka Pyramid for winning. Hi, Debs and the Betty. For winning 2023 Grammy Awards for his album called The Callin'. Yesterday's price is not today's Kabaka price. I just want y'all to know that, okay? He's also working on his European tour right now as well. So he'll be all over the place. I think he might be coming to New York as well, if I'm not mistaken. But shout out to Kabaka Pyramid, Destiny Media, and Zweli, the Marley family, Buju, everybody that was on that album. The album did great, great, great. I think it sold about 4,000 units the first week. It was streamed over a hundred and something thousand times. So he is deserving of that accolade and award. So shout out to Kabaka Pyramid and his entire team. Destiny Media, you can find her on Instagram. She is PR for a lot of big artists. She does amazing work. And if you are an artist and you need someone to help you push your career, she is the lady. But you gotta pay her. Okay?
When it comes to music, I sing, I love is all I bring. Come on, pyramid with lyrical sling like King David. And rhythm like this, we not play with. Lord, a long time on a DJ in a dance. A long time on a chant in a dance. Me come for nice up the area. Me come for nice up Jamaica. But watch a jet, dance off sell off. Dance off to cock, liquor sell off. Georgie wine sell off. People really see it and have to laugh. Oh Lord, promoter and his eyes and have to laugh.
Congratulations, Kabaka!
Cha la 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 la. Born and grow in Jamaica. No matter where me go, me nah left ya. Me say me nah left Jamaica. Not at all. Me coulda never left Jamaica.
You know what I want to know though? When are they gonna have a soca Grammy Award section? When is that happening? And who needs to make that happen? Who needs to make that happen?
Practitioner of yoga, but not Indian. Lyrics them a weapon of mass destruction. Me have nuclear bomb like a American. Can't overstand like a Egyptian. I'm a clip it when me ship it to the fifth dimension. The chant on the rhythm that I feel me religion. You get twist up and flat up like a Brazilian. File off your face with the mic in my hand. Then me sip a cup of tea like me come from England. A long time on a DJ in a dance. A long time on.
I'm just trying to drop a few Kabaka Pyramid songs, and then I'm gonna get into who I'm interviewing this Saturday.
Hey, yo, Mr. Rastaman, if I give you my heart, don't play with me. Cause when you give me the ital style ball, it can do it for me. Hey, yo, Mr. Rastaman, please, oh, please come talk to me.
Empress Low.
Of course, this is Kabaka Pyramid and Tifa.
I'ma treat you like a queen, make you sit up on the throne. Use up your brain, the knowledge in your dome. And I tell stew, not no chicken or no bone. Me give you the roots while you sipping on Patron. When me rock it and me dip it and me slap it like a cricket. And you know me nah go lick it.
Oh, stop it, that's ridiculous. Love it when you deal with it, so proper and meticulous.
Inna your like when Gucci did say
Big it up.
Mr. Rastaman, if I give you my heart, don't play with me. Cause when you give me the ital style ball, it can do it for me. Hey, you, Mr. Rastaman, please, oh, please come talk to me.
We are streaming live on getwiththefix.net, Blaze Radio, Mighty Mix, Majestic, Coffee, My Tuner, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Google Play, Roku TV, all over the place, all over the place. I have, I do my Saturday interviews as well. And this Saturday, I have an interview. I was asked, and I was like, Oh, nice. I like it. Yes, I like it. So this woman.
An angel. Free mind. Make sure you free your mind for the one year.
Let me start that over. Let me start that over.
Free mind. Make sure you free your mind for the one year. Yeah. An angel. Free mind. Make sure you free your mind for the one year.
This Saturday, I will be interviewing the angel right here. This Saturday.
Free minds again.
Make a talk, no?
Here we go again.
Like they say.
Dealing with emotions, girl, I just can't comprehend.
Yeah.
I just wanna hold you closer, girl, let's make amends.
Make me do that, no?
Cause I don't wanna go another day without your love again. I hope this is not the end.
DJ, can't slow down cause life upon a pace. Running after me and tripping over your lace. The missing piece of the puzzle can't be replaced. It's like a different flavor, you can't forget the taste. I've heard of promises, seen them broke down like tears. Don't wanna fall asleep, I'm so scared of nightmares.
This groove is good for us.
This Saturday at 2 p.m., I will be talking to the angel right here on Get With The Fix. Oftentimes I don't like posting certain flyers because, you know, some people be trying to sabotage my stuff. I see y'all. I know y'all be trying to do it, but this interview is confirmed. So this Saturday I will be talking to the angel. You know, I haven't even gotten my questions together yet because it's a lot of questions that I have, so I have to work on it. But 2 p.m. this Saturday, the angel will be on Get With The Fix with me. You know, having a conversation. Yeah, and I'll definitely broadcast it on air at 2 p.m. This Saturday. So, you know, look out for that. Next week, the 15th, MAGA 100 will be in the building. I did apologize so many times to them for last week. I just wasn't well at all. I wasn't well at all. And I'm not promoting any drugs, but if you ever want to get some sleep, days worth of sleeps. Sleeps is not a word, Michelle. Days worth of sleep. take a Valium. Take a Valium. They gave me Valium. And I'm not a person who takes drugs. Like, I don't drink alcohol, and I don't do drugs. I'm not that girl. But they gave me a Valium for the pain that I was having. And I've never slept that much in my entire life. CD, hi CD. I've never slept that much in my life. Like, they told me I couldn't drive. My car has been sitting outside for 2 weeks. Okay? 2 weeks. Yeah, you do need a prescription for it, but if you know somebody that knows somebody and you want to get some sleep, I'm sorry, but my car sat outside for 2 weeks because I couldn't drive. I just couldn't drive because I had to take these pills, and I will be up. Like, if you guys see me post, and I will post like 6 something in the morning because, of course, I have a teenager in the house. I got to get to school. Sometimes you gotta wake them up and get them out the bed, throw some water on them to get them out. And then you don't see me post again until 1, 2 o'clock. It's because I was knocked all the way out. I was out like a light. But I go back to work tomorrow. God help me. And I go and I see my students tomorrow. So I'm good with that. So yeah, with the fix, MichelleG. Thank you all for tuning in. To my microphone. Oh, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I had a great time being here. We're gonna continue to have more conversations. DJ Drew is up next, but before I go, I wanted to play this new Hood Celebrity.
Yeah. You see the vibes?
You see the vibes?
Come on, Tina. Yeah. And on the trigger if a boy try this me. Squeeze it back and give him round 50. And you see me know my fans, they miss me.
Yeah, with the fix, MichelleG. Bye. Good night. Hood Celebrity song is called I'm Back. over. This is Hood Celebrity. This song is called I Am Back. Good night. Good night, good night, good night. Get with the fix, Michelle G. Bye.
Squeeze it back and give me round 50. Back when they see me, know my fans, they miss me. Me run New York and me, I make this. No girl can't see me, I'm violate. If me was set that real straight, me and my friends, them my crews from the tri-state. And I'm the team's dark clouds, I'm a night shit. I'm from New York, you get slapped if you act up. And I swear I wish you act tough. I got the juice, I got the sauce, pull out the Mac truck. This is my sons, when they see me, they starstruck. Bad girl, no check for no girl. My make girl a sick tick for no dollar. I mean, I lead no stand next to no girl. I wish up.
Go on, Hood Celebrity. Tell him.
And on the trigger, if a boy try this, squeeze it back and keep round 50. Back when they see me, know my fans, they miss me. Me run New York, and me make queen of the deck, no call me no princess. Come here, so fi work, me no come fi impress. Never do think, I me no see them as a threat. Never do think, I me no see them as a threat. Me make hits after hits like Sean Paul and shot. Just a put in the word, no me no watch nobody. 2023, me no want hear no sorry. Bad mind can't tarry. The dogs them ready, me no worry about threats. Real life steppers, you know how we flex. Anytime I buck no on in a once. Me a talk truth, me no care who vex. Yeah. And on the trigger, if a boy try this, squeeze it back and keep me round 50. Back on the scene, me know my fans, they miss me. Me run New York and me a make history. And on the trigger, if a boy try this, squeeze it back and keep me round 50. Back on the scene, me know my fans, they miss me. Me run New York and me a make history.